Hi, everybody. It's me. Welcome to my channel. If you like my channel, please like and subscribe. There's a notification bell down in the corner that will let you know as to when I'm going live. Tried changing the lighting a little bit. I still think it might be a little harsh. But at least there's nothing on my glasses, so that makes me happy. Hi, Patty. Hi, Ivy. So today, obviously, I am in much better shape than yesterday. And I wanted to talk about that. I wanted to talk about um, what that means. Hi, Megan. So, hope. Hope is what drives me to go to the doctor when necessary to get the medications to treat my symptoms and my illnesses. Hi, Sylvan. And I had a really good understanding of that today when I thought about how lucky I was that there is hope, and how lucky I was that there is treatment and that life has these challenges. And I think that the key to overcoming a lot of them is, thank you, Megan. I think the key to a lot of that is holding on that hope for tomorrow, understanding that in the depths of my despair, in the depths of my mental illness, my physical well-being, whatever, in the depths of that, understanding that it's not forever, understanding that there is a something to that is going to ease up. This too shall pass. And hi, Akshay. And I think that in today, I really realized this too shall pass is hope, knowing that things change, knowing that even at the bottom, it gets better. And yes, exactly, Patty. Be addicted to hope. Be addicted to hope. Um, it's what allows us to make plans for the next day. If we didn't have hope, there would be no plans. Cause what's the point, right? But then I thought of that, and I thought about it in the scope of being unhoused, right? And because something had been kind of rolling around in my head. And one of the arguments, and it's not a good, I'm not going to even call it a good argument, but one of the pushbacks that we have are when people say, well, what about the people who refuse help? And first, I think that we have to understand, why are they refusing help? Could it be a loss of hope? Because I kind of face that myself, after being told, oh, go here for housing, go here for this. And really, what I was going for was to sign up on a waiting list that I'd already taken care of through my social worker. But now I've been to 4 different places in the belief, because they told me, go here for housing. After about the fourth time, you're just like, yeah, I'm good. I'm on the list. Thank you. Bye-bye. you know, there's no the hope is not there that they can provide the help that you need. And I think that there has to be this conversation. Hi, SJ. Oh, from England. Hi, from Seattle. Um, so I think that that conversation needs to be had. There is a point to where a person can feel like there is no help for them. There is no hope for them. There is no help for them. And I believe in really trying to understand, instead of looking at things from a surface level. When somebody says, no, I'm good, say, well, why? What is it that you really need? Because help is very personal. You know, you might think, for example, that giving someone, I'm thinking here, what's a good example? I'll come up with a good analogy. But for example, okay, a lot of people hand out peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. There are people, believe it or not, who are unhoused who have peanut allergies. And there may be somebody there that says, I am so hungry. And you say, here's a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. And they say, no, I'm good. Is it a requirement that they tell you why? Well, no. They're just going to say no. And you may feel like, well, what? Wasn't peanut butter and jelly good enough? What are you waiting for? Roast beef and I don't know what people say when it comes to that. I was just trying to make an analogy. But the thing is we have to understand, and that comes down to individuals because not one person's help is not another person's help. Um, if someone was to hand me a fishing pole, I know how to catch fish. That would work for me. But if they were to hand someone who has never been exposed to any kind of fishing, a fishing pole, don't tell them how to work it, don't tell them how to use it. Without instruction, that's not help for that person because they can't use it. They don't know how. So we have to find out what does that individual need? What is the kind of help that they need? And that really, it shines so much in my life because I am just really a blessed human being when it comes to people reaching in and just being really gracious and amazing with the help. Um, you know, tonight, because I was feeling better, I was doing better because I'm back on my medication. It's snowing really bad. Our weather is pretty horrible right now. So my plans had changed and everybody rescheduled. So we did have one video conferencing thing, but it was amazing. It was amazing the amount of work that got done just through that meeting. And I was able to focus. I was able to speak with clarity. I was able to um, work problems around in my head and really focus on that, which is really important. Um, so it was really good. With that being said, I was also able to make sorry, I lost my train of thought for a second, it happens. What I was talking about, though, is I felt so much better today that, Kate had brought over some foodstuffs for, me and Gypsy's apartment and the people there, and, I was able to, do something that I love, which is cooking, and make myself a beautiful, healthy meal. I made homemade chicken and dumplings with, sautéed asparagus, avocado, and Campari, tomatoes. It was yummy, I have to say. I'm a good cook. Um, but there's hope, and I hope that if you watch my vlogs, you can see that even at the roughest point, it doesn't stay that way. Things change. I think if that's anything and everything is that we have to remember is nothing stays the same. Every minute is different, every hour is different, every day is different, and it is really important to focus. If you can't focus on getting through the pain that you're in or the breakdown or the whatever is happening, physical breakdown, if you're having a hard time getting through that, hold out hope. There will be some time where it eases up and you can gain some strength. Um, thank you, creation vibes. Yeah, yeah, this too shall pass. Yeah, I'm sorry, Patty. Um, y- thank you so very, very much. Invisible People channel. Actually, this is Creation Vibes. This is my channel, Invisible People. If you type Invisible People into YouTube, Mark Horvath runs that, and he has his own channel. But I'm sure he would be super stoked to have you subscribe. Um, I have improved. I've improved a lot, and it's hard to remember for me sometimes, and that's why I was like, "Hope, that's what I gotta talk about today," because yesterday was such a harsh day. I had a literal mental breakdown in the middle of luckily, it was mental health waiting room, so go me. But it's difficult, and it's difficult as well as a professional to know that there may be somebody that you work with. Oh my word. I mean, what, if somebody that I'd worked with had been there, if somebody that in any line, watches, a colleague or somebody there, have a different relationship with break down in the middle of a waiting room. If you weren't understanding of how that's not that's people can get better. Like, if somebody was to see that, luckily, okay, I have to say though, again, blessed because I have amazing colleagues. I have people that I work with that are absolutely phenomenal. I can't say anything. They know about my difficulties. They take it in stride. They give me pointers. They are phenomenal. I never ever have to worry about. So like, but I mean, in a general sense, I personally may not have to deal with that, but it's still embarrassing. It's still really because the thing is you're having this complete mental breakdown, and you're outside of yourself kind of watching it, like, oh no, please don't, please, oh, everybody's watching, stop. And you can't. And I mean, now today, things are much better. And I am so thankful for that. So thankful for that. But I'm also really thankful about the people in my life that understand, and I think that we are becoming more aware of the the effects of trauma and the effects of, and exactly, we're still need a lot of educating on the different types of mental illnesses, what that means, what the treatments are, that as well. And I kind of broke this, and I've been in a lot of therapy, but I took a break from therapy for a while. And honestly, if you are medicated, you really should use that in conjunction with some type of therapy, whether that be um, dialectic or cognitive behavioral, whatever. That is definitely a thing. And I've been hearing a lot of good come back over biofeedback. Um, and I've been kind of, yeah, it's neurofeedback, biofeedback, and it's really showing a lot of promising results for treatment of many, many different conditions. Um, so I don't know though that Medicaid or anything pays for that. For those of you who don't know, um, in the United States, our healthcare is very wealth based. So we do have programs for those who meet certain criteria on the poverty level, but for the most part, our healthcare is all wealth based. And there even there was a time too, I talked to my neurologist, and I was speaking with her, and I said, well, what about and I was interested in hyperbaric oxygen. And I was like, "Well, what about hyperbaric oxygen? Like, it's a big deal. Like, I would really love to have that chance." She's like, "No, that's not an option." And I was like, "Wait a second." Well, and then I was talking about a different scan. I was like, "Well, what about a PET scan too, to take a look at, some of the issues or whatever, or a SPECT, that was it." And she's like, "That's not an option." I was like, "I have read about I'm not crazy. I know these are things, and I know that this has been shown." And she goes, "No, no, 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 no. You're misunderstanding me." She said, "They're not an option for you because you can't afford it, and your insurance will not cover it." Because my insurance is state insurance, Medicaid. And that was really hard to know that because I was of a different wealth class, that it just wasn't as important to heal me. Not that I didn't do all the work and start healing, because I am, and I'm rocking it, and I'm happy about it, because even in the depths, I know that you gotta hang on, you know? And, I'm very lucky. Called me after last night's vlog, and let me know that there were people commenting, because I could not see any of the comments, and I was pretty upset. Um, so, oh, right, yeah, I had a good supper, creative creation vibes. Patty, do I get seasonal affective disorder? Not so much. I do find that weather affects my mental health, but I think it's mostly in the way it does for everybody else when it's gray and things like that. It 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 kicks off flares. When it's cold, when it's rainy, things like that, my body hurts more. So I think it affects my mental state. Whereas it's a little harder to overcome. I think the more things that are added onto my plate, the harder it is to overcome those things. Um, 777th follower. Awesome. Is US healthcare so costly? Oh yes. We are just known for letting people die for lack of money on insulin. Like, yeah, it's our healthcare system is insanity. And it is exploitive and takes advantage of the very most vulnerable. Um, it's frankly frightening and sad. Um, on that note, regionally differs very much. So where you're at in the United States varies wildly as to the kind of care you're going to get. So that's why I said, when in some of my previous blogs, when I talked about when I came to Seattle, one of the things that when I came to Seattle, I knew I had to do was get healthcare, because Harborview Medical Center is an amazing. They have amazing neuro rehab. They have amazing for brain trauma. They are amazing. And so I knew, I had researched. I had a friend that had survived some really awful stuff, and they did a really great job. So I knew that by leaving the region of the Deep South and going to the Pacific Northwest, I, of course, stopped in Montana because that's where I'm originally from, and I had some family. Um, but then I came to Seattle, and I needed healthcare. I was not going to make it without it. And so it was, even though I say, it's extremely costly, it's exploitive, I have myself, and everybody has their own experiences, but I have myself very good healthcare right now. I've got very good doctors. I've doctors that go to bat for me, and truly, I forgot to turn my ringer off. Go to bat for me and truly are an advocate with me on my healthcare. So everything is, really communicated back and forth. I have an app as well that helps communication. I can look over every visit summary. I can send an email to my providers on the spot. I can there's just a wide array of services that I have been provided that is I have right now the best healthcare I have ever had in my life. And so shame on me for not going to the doctor for a few months, because having it, I should definitely utilize it. Um, but I think that's saying something that, it is so regional. It is so different, but all of it is pretty exploitative. Let's see. Hey, Kate. I actually did have a great day, and I am super excited because so we all got together. Well, not all of us, but okay. So we have a few nonprofits that do amazing, amazing work uh, around animals, animal centered, and the One Health Clinic, Seattle Dogs homeless program, or Seattle Dogs homeless program, Donico, you know, Paws from it's PAWS, I believe. And so we got together, and today everybody got snowed out. We've got some serious hills and things in Seattle. So on the outskirts, there were some people who just couldn't make it down those roads. Some roads were closed. So we did a teleconference, and we just really, there was a lot accomplished. And I was really excited about it. And I was I was grateful. I was grateful that I got help, and I was grateful to every single person that keeps pushing me forward and keeps, you know, doing that and saying, "You got this." Keep pressing on. Things are going to get better. And that's the thing. Things are going to get better. They are. And then they're going to get worse, and then they're going to get better again, and then they're going to get worse, and then they're going to get better again. Bad things happen in life. That is, nobody escapes this life without something, or some sort of tragedy. And I think that it's really important in those times to focus on change and know that that moment will change. That moment will change in depth. That moment will change in memory. That moment will change with time. And everything changes. So it's got to get better. Do I think it is a drawback of a capitalist system? Absolutely. Um, a capitalist system is based on greed. Um, it is based on monetary valuations, and that doesn't take into account um, investments really made in community. But my member, there's a lot it doesn't take into account, but absolutely, not only is it's destructive to the vulnerable, it's exploiting a large number of people, and it has caused deaths. And I think that that's horrible. And I don't think that we should ever want to live by something that causes such damage to others. But that's the tenet of that whole philosophy, is that it's based solely on greed. So, there's no other way to describe it, I don't think, except that that is capitalism equal is a system based on the value of greed. Um, I always have gratitude. Um, I don't know if I always have gratitude. I think that some days I have to really look for things to be grateful for. I know that there's always something to be grateful for. But I'll be honest, I get really irritated when people are like, "At least you're above ground." Don't. Just don't say that. Not a good thing. Because honestly, if I'm in the midst of a psychosis or a breakdown, I don't want to be on this side. And that's not a good thing for me. So it's best to let people pick what they're grateful for. So sometimes I have to, even if I'm not feeling it, like I'm just like, everything sucks and everything's horrible. I would be like, nah, there's something. There's something that I can find. I can make that choice. I can say in all of it, it's all horrible, it sucks, it's whatever. But it's up to me to to interrupt that thought pattern and find something to hang on to. Hope. Um, I'm Portuguese, and you know how much I paid for my last psychiatry consultation? Nothing. Wow. Um, it's really difficult because I know a lot of people that do not get any kind of mental health treatment because it's so expensive. And if you are not, for example, I want to explain something, ugh, and I think this is a good time to do it. Um, for example, in my situation, if I was to say my income rises above a certain amount, I will no longer be eligible for Medicaid, which is health insurance for the indigent or the impoverished. In other words, people who are at or below the poverty line. Um, so if if I was to my income exceeded that and I lost Medicaid, I man, every time I say this, I gotta giggle. I want okay. I'm lucky because I lived in a Superfund area that was contaminated by asbestos. So I'm eligible for Medicare because they lied about it and poisoned our town. And I found out, like my grandfather was one of the original miners of Libby vermiculite. Libby vermiculite. Thank you. Um, and he passed from mesothelioma, I think, or oh, sorry, asbestosis. He passed away from asbestosis. My grandmother passed away from it. I've had several family members, including my biological father. That's actually what he passed away from. So I get screened every now and again. So, but here's the kicker on that. If I was, and see, that's me. I'm one of the lucky ones to have been poisoned. And I'll explain this. And the reason why I say that is because if I didn't have access to that, my medications per month exceed $6,500, if not a little more. And so they would only pay a portion of that. And so what would happen is I wouldn't be able to afford my medication. And then what happens after that happens is that you're no longer being able to function at the level. I wouldn't be able to function at the level I am. And so then I would drop back down to below or at poverty level and have to be on Medicaid again. And so it's very difficult to live. It's almost a cycle. And if you're not in that cycle and you have employer-based healthcare, the deductibles are insane. They don't have to cover everything. If you have pre-existing conditions like I do, and many people do, many times they won't cover it at all. Or wait, they had to because of Affordable Care Act, which covered those of us with pre-existing conditions that couldn't get care no matter what. A lot of people thinks that it was supposed to make it affordable across the board, but the tenet of it was people with pre-existing conditions because no matter the price, you couldn't get coverage. Um, but that's a whole nother thing. There's a lot of debate about that, and I honestly don't want to make my vlog about that at this juncture. I just want to tell people in my view, healthcare is a human right. How It's the basis. It's us. It's what we are. It is optimum. It's us operating at our full, at our best. How can that do anything but lift us as a society and lift us as human beings? People functioning in good, healthy manners is how we get compassion and love and kindness and solutions and progress and innovation. So we want that. And we know for a fact the basis of our existence is safe habitat, food, and water and healthy socialization. So that's how I feel about that. I am very, very unhappy with our healthcare system. It started from the time I was young. It didn't improve when my biological mother was a heroin addict. And when she died of acute leukemia when I was 19. Um, I flew into California and I got to witness that she wasn't important enough to treat. She just her life wasn't worth that much. So the treatments that would have been offered to someone without those issues or with wealth were very, very different. Um, and because I was her oldest child and 19, I couldn't pay for a funeral, so she's buried publicly. That was donated by a church, I believe. Um, Hi, Myra. Philly, let's go D. It's sad, but that's why the best doctors live in America. I don't think that's true at all. I absolutely do not agree with that. I think that this global community has some phenomenal doctors, and I would say that there are brilliant, amazing doctors worldwide. I would not say that that is an American thing. Um, Hi there, Amanda. What's going on? I just told everybody. Actually, Canada is the best free health care program. I don't know. I think everybody kind of thinks, except for Americans. I know most Americans know that ours is not by far the best. It is completely wealth based. um, but I do think that there are many like many countries, and each one has their own, and some are really effective. We study global policies when it comes to displacement and housing programs and health programs. It's definitely a global effort. It comes down to money. That's why healthcare is so expensive. Yep, yep. And that actually ties in, Philly, with what was said above about capitalism. It is a system that is based entirely on greed and monetary worth over the value of life. So, yeah, but I kind of strayed from my subject, which was hope, and that there's hope for brighter days. And I do believe with everything in me that even when I am healthy and I am straight, I always believe there is always a reason for hope. And I can cling to that in some of my darkest moments, is just that functional knowledge that nothing lasts forever, and that there is always something to be grateful for. The thing is I do not have a right to tell somebody what that is or what they should be grateful for, or it is extremely personal. Sometimes it could be anything. It could be anything. It's so personal. So personal. Today, I'm grateful for being medicated and straight again and able to communicate and able to work. I think that actually kind of led to some of my freak out, is knowing I had a very busy day today and that I wouldn't be able to function correctly and I wouldn't be able to communicate well. And that really needed to happen today. So I was very blessed again to be able to go and get that taken care of. Let's see. Just says that health is the most important. Yeah, it is. I mean, that's the thing. To have a good life, to have a stable life, that you need your health. And that's mental and physical. It's really key. It's the foundation of everything. When we look at people, we look at, their cellular health, even in a very small scale. Um, that's the best attitude. Thank you. Hope is nothing, stick to the reality. Okay. Okay. The problem with that statement is that reality is also heavily based on perception. And so what everybody experiences is something different. We each inhabit this world in our own way, and we sense things in our own way. Even to the point of the way some people see color is different than another who sees color. The colors will appear different. We are amazing creatures, but to say that hope is nothing, hope is what allows us to wash our clothes. Why would you wash your clothes if you're never going to wear them again? The hope is that someday you will put your pants on again. There is always hope. We do nothing without hope, in my opinion. Um, After stalking your Instagram, I have to thank you. I have to say, oh, thank you so much. Love your painting so much. And what about a video on that blueberry lemon tart? Honestly, I have been asked to do like cooking videos, and I did one, and I don't have a very big kitchen. And it's not messy, but I definitely have like a little thing that I set like flour and stuff like that, and I have my vegetables off to the side and my spices. And the last video, people were like, it's kind of cluttered, and I just was like, man, I don't know, I could shove everything into cupboards, and I really have no desire to live in any way that I'm not actually living. So I guess I could, and I don't. Yeah, you're right. I should do a video. I also worry too because I don't really measure. I kind of throw things together, and then but it usually works out because I've been doing it a long time. um, Hi Leslie, loved you back. Myra, hope is it is. It is. You know, I wouldn't come on here and talk if there wasn't the hope that somebody would listen. I wouldn't give a supply out if it wasn't for the hope that somebody would use it. There's so many things that require hope, and hope is always possible, even if it's the hope that you're going to get through to the next minute, you know? So, are there any questions, any comments, anything like that? I'm going to get going here in a minute. I agree, Megan. I do like the lighting better like this. It doesn't glare off my glasses like it was before. I was really having trouble with that. Anyone? No? Okay, everybody. Well, I enjoy I enjoyed today, and I enjoy being able to come on here and show everybody that that things can get better. They can get really bad, but they can also get better. And please keep hope. Please. Even if you have to really concentrate. Okay. Let's see. Hope feels good. It does though. Valerie, you're welcome. All right, guys. I hope you have an amazing evening. Tomorrow I am booked. They made me make more appointments. So tomorrow I'm going to be off to the doctor's office for the day. Um, my question, did you ever think about writing a book? Yes, 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 and yes. And I have started a million times. Um, I'll be honest. Okay, in the book, when I start to write, some of the things that happened to me were deeply disturbing. Not, you know, it yes, it tears me up, but I worry I worry about the trauma even discussing it with people sometimes. You know, it's very I think that it's very important to address some of those issues, but I'm not quite sure how yet. Um, and I guess the thing is just keep writing and then you can redo it. And that's man, I'm so much better at like writing like a research paper at grant or something. But no, I'm working on it and I'm gonna try. And even, if I have to do one that's like based on oh no. All right, guys. Have a great evening, and I will talk to you later. Sending so much love out, and I hope you all can find hope. See, I must say hope a lot. I just realized that. Bye, everyone.